Friends, today I have the most disgusting, despicable, bizarre crime coming out of Austria. And when I was researching and I found this case, I thought to myself, Austria? We never hear anything bad coming out of Austria. Who could have possibly come out of Austria and done something this bad? And then I realized, well, there was someone. So we go to the city of Graz in Austria, referring to an individual by the name of Gertrude Arzberger, who was 33 years old, and her partner, Hannes Genser, who was 29 years old. They were living in a multi-family apartment. The year is 2005, and like any other apartment complex building, there's facilities. There's barbecues, swimming pools, games room, shared laundry, all that stuff. I don't know if they had the barbecue or the swimming pool, but I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. And in this case, they had a basement that was full of freezers and that had ice creams and drinks and all that kind of stuff. But on one hot June day in 2005, a resident at this apartment complex decided, oh, I want to go get some ice cream. So they go downstairs to the basement. They open the freezer and they see an infant child wrapped in a bag, frozen. Now, just so you're clear, I'm going to refer to Gertrude in this story as Arzberger. Yeah, as in arse, bum, and then burger as in McDonald's. Just to be disrespectful, as that's what she deserves. So if you do end up liking this video, please subscribe. So when this resident found the baby, he decided, I need to call the police. And the police were called, and when they went down to the freezer, they discovered another bag with another infant who was again frozen. And when the bodies of these infant children were sent over to forensics and the coroner or whoever in Austria, they learned that these children were still alive when they were put in the fridge. And I look at that and I think to myself, okay, before I dissect onto why she would do this or why anyone would do this, if you have an individual who's going to put babies in a freezer alive, my guess would be that individual didn't have the courage. Well, it's not courageous, but that individual could not take the life of the child first and put him in the freezer because that's too big of guilt or a burden for them to bear. It was probably easier for them to just put the child in the freezer and think, all right, they're gone now. I don't ever have to think about them ever again. There's no memory in their head of the child not breathing or the child feeling any kind of torture or pain or whatever. Get the child, put him in the freezer. I know it sounds stupid. It's deranged, and I can't find the words in the English language apart from fucking stupidity. But I kind of hope you understand my logic. Do you get what I mean? Now, just when the story couldn't get any worse, the police then decided to search the entire apartment complex. And out back, where you have the trash cans, they found 2 more infant babies in buckets full of cement, dead. Now just imagine that. They were entombed in concrete-filled buckets. Now, if you're going to get a bucket and you're going to put concrete in there, that's a deliberate act, right? You got to go through the trouble of getting cement in the first place. You got to get a bucket in the first place, and then you got to put the child in the bucket with the cement. All of that is planned. As opposed to a freezer, the freezer's already there, like with most houses. You put the baby in, you close the door. I know, it sounds ridiculous, right? But when I read about the concrete in the bucket, I thought to myself, this is genuine pain. You knew what would happen to the babies. You planned this. You went all the way to the store and got cement. You then put it in bucket. You put in water, and how you make cement, I don't know. I'm not a construction worker. But you see what I'm trying to say. Planning, foresight, deliberate. So then the police decided, okay, well, we've got these babies. Let's go and question the residents that live in this apartment complex. So they literally questioned everyone. And most people were like, I don't know, until one resident broke down crying and she confessed to all the murders. This was the aforementioned Arzberger. This sick, sadistic, inhumane mother broke down in tears in front of the police. Now, she claimed that she didn't know she was pregnant and she gave birth to these babies in the bathtub. And I thought to myself, hold on a minute, you didn't notice the bump? You didn't notice how when you're pregnant, you become more hungry, as women do? What about hormonal changes? Like, what the fuck am I hearing? So the police then made Arzberger and Jonas commit some DNA tests, and it turns out 3 of the babies were Jonas's. All 4, Arzberger was the mother. Johannes, the partner of Arzberger, he claimed he had no idea about these pregnancies and he was never told. He claimed he was completely innocent. The neighbors, however, did testify that to them, they thought that Arzberger was pregnant this whole time. They noticed the swollen bellies that she would have. They told the police that whenever they would see her in this apartment complex have a conversation, hey, how are you? They would just assume that she's pregnant, such was the nature of this bump. However, when the police arrested Arzberger and took her down to the police station, her story changed. She said that the babies had been born over a 7-year period. Then she said she didn't kill them out of shock, she killed them out of despair. She told the police that her and Johannes were struggling for money and they couldn't afford to raise 4 children, so it was easier for her to rid the children rather than be financially burdened. She also told the police, and this is even more bizarre, her and Johannes had been together for around 8 years, and she thought if they had multiple children, then Johannes would leave her. And she thought, okay, well, the solution to me keeping him is ridding these babies. And it's like, mate, like life is all about decision making. A person like this should not have the right to make decisions. That's just a fact. Now, during the trial, she sobbed, she cried, she continuously said that she was sorry, if I could change it, I could. But what's interesting about this case, in terms of the verdict, is that there's 4 lives. She should have been given 4 life sentences, but the judge gave her only 3 because it was proven that one of the children was stillborn. So she was sentenced to 3 life sentences and Johannes was sentenced to 15 years in prison, and he blubbed like a girl while he was at the courthouse. Now, there are so many words that you could use to describe these 2 horrendous individuals. In the case of Johannes, if he didn't know, you can't always blame someone for not knowing. And it was revealed in the trial that he did tell Arzberger that he didn't want children ever. But imagine the scenario, right? You're with your partner, you live with her every day. She becomes bigger than normal. You ask a question. Or normally they would make a statement, like if you're in a relationship and your girl gains weight, she'll say, oh, I think I've gained weight, or I think I'm going to head down to the gym, or whatever. You notice changes. It's not criticism. It's normal. It happens. I gain weight, you gain weight, we lose it. This is normal, right? But a pregnancy is very specific. A pregnancy bump is very different to any kind of weight gain. It's in a specific place, in a specific area. And for him to remain ignorant is baffling. Maybe he did ask the question, who knows? But the solution to this was not putting the children in a freezer or in cement. Are you out of your mind? That's why I said people like this should not be allowed to make decisions. I don't even know what to make of it. So why don't you guys comment? Tell me what you think.